Hello everyone, Cheek here with another Transformers review, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers G1 1986 movie cartoon style Insecticon Kickback. And he is pretty cool. Never had the original G1 style one growing up. I did have a couple of the others. I did have a Bombshell and Shrapnel, but I lost them at some point or sold them at some point. I don't think I lost them, but they didn't have everything to them, so I didn't hold on to them eventually because, had to thin out my collection at some point. Anyway, I definitely want to make sure I get all of them at some point again because that'd be pretty cool. Let's take a closer look at Kickback. So obviously he doesn't have all the stickers and all that the original toy would have had, and I do believe the wings would have been chrome rather than silvered, but I rather have the silver, which I do believe is more tune accurate anyway, and they're not going to get all horribly fingerprinted and the paint chrome messed up. Chrome looks so good, but it just does not age well. Anyway, let's see how close we can get in on the bug face. Just looking at the bug face, not looking at the robot mode face. Clearly underneath there is some painted die cast, which you can probably tell based on the way it's kind of glinting rather than the plastic, but it's like mostly die cast right in there. There is a little bit of posability for the bug mode. You can move these around a little bit. There are wheels on the hind legs, wheels on the front legs, nothing on the middle legs, but they're all can be moved around a bit. Now, obviously, if you want them to be able to roll, you kind of have to have them more flat like that. But since he's a bug, why do you really need to worry about having wheels so he can roll around? But Kickback can roll around somewhat, which I think is a really funny thing to say. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and bring in the Legacy Kickback, which I do believe is the first one that they ended up releasing in the Insecticons in the new line. If you'll notice, these are repro labels, so it is not the standard one, so he probably looks closer to the original toy than the original toy does, at least aesthetic-wise. But this does not open up. I think it was originally supposed to, but then they glued them, but some people broke theirs trying to get to open. This one does actually open, because that's where a little Micromaster type figure would have sat in at one point. And he does come with a little gun, which can't really go anywhere in his bug mode, but it is there, unless I guess you want to, set it in there, but that's really silly. And one thing that they came with that I find so super cool, on the pictures, it's possible they showed them with all of them, but as far as I was aware, they only came with one Energon cube. But the Insecticons, they come with 6 Energon cubes. They are just a soft, rubbery kind of plastic, so they do kind of stick to each other a little bit, but it's so cool. Now I have a bunch of Energon cubes. Maybe they're not necessarily going to be in scale with the Studio Series ones, but I still think it's a pretty cool thing to have going on right there. And then you can just have them perched over it, like eating Energon cubes. Same you could do with them, with the larger ones, but obviously, like I said, they might not be in as realistic scale. And then you can, I guess, maybe put one Energon cube in at a time. Anyway, I don't know if I would really want to store a bunch of Energon cubes in there, but you can kind of pretend that, I guess, it's going in their belly. But that's pretty funny, I guess. So I guess that's pretty much about it for the bug mode. And I will say, I don't want to do another full review of this guy, but I will say his grasshopper mode in some ways doesn't look as good as the original. Mainly just the legs, the robot mode legs are a little too fat for the grasshopper mode. This one has that a little bit, but they are thinner, so it's a more believable grasshopper mode in my opinion. Other than the obvious visible face underneath, but as long as you keep that hidden, it's not too bad, because that obviously looks like a mouth. This one kind of has that too, but it's, I don't know. I guess it does it a little bit better, but I still think the original looks a little bit better, generally, in my opinion. And I guess it's because of the die cast too. Really love the die cast. Insecticon, kickback, function, espionage. Friend is another word for fool. Kickback is cruel and clever, making others do his bidding by digging up facts as blackmail. His strong jaws can chew through the toughest of metal. They did not come with the decoder, but you can pretty much clearly see where his stats are. He's not super strong, but I don't know why it's... Okay, so at strength, he is a 3. Intelligence, wow, he's a 9. That's actually quite surprising. Speed is 4. He's a bug, so I guess that makes sense. Firepower, 5. So I guess this Insecticon, if you discount the cartoon, is relatively brainy. Anyway, normally I would do the fly the bumblebee thing, but there's no point in that because G1, so simple. So just, I guess move his antennae forward, rotate his head around, rotate these back, push these legs together, and it is very stiff because of that screw right in there, which is pretty nice. And then rotate, and then just collapse his legs in like that, and there we have a little Kickback in his robot mode. And Kickback is pretty cool, I must say. And I do like that he can actually it is a little bit of cheating, but you can open up his arm and make him hold an energon cube. But that is, like I said, a little bit cheating. Obviously, since it's G1, there is no way to rotate his arm, so you can have the little gap, the hole that's formed to actually really hold a gun. But you do have a little gun anyway that is reminiscent of a Tommy gun, which other Kickbacks does do as well. If you want to take a look at that, the difference between them. But this one does look a little more updated. But just to make him hold it, it just slides over his hand, and he actually holds it pretty well, all things considered. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that in his robot mode. And then he can be standing guard over his energon cubes. And before we wrap this thing up, let's go ahead and show him off. I must say it is a bit of an unfair comparison for robot mode, because obviously he is much more cartoon accurate without the Reaper labels, obviously, but I do love the Reaper labels so much. But he can hold it sort of, and he actually looks pretty cool holding a energon cube. But they both definitely look good together. But I still think, as MGO likes to say about G1 figures, about how precious they are. Oh, so very precious. But I do think that he looks really good, and I look forward to having the G1 Insecticon gang reunited. So that's about it for Transformers 1986 movie style Insecticon Kickback. And if you like this review and you would like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. And until next time, have a good one, everyone.